For context, I 23F have been dating my boyfriend 24M, we'll call him Jake, for 2 years. Our relationship has always been really great besides the fact that he has a girl best friend 23F, we'll call her Abby. Abby and Jake have known each other since they were toddlers and their families are very close, as in they go on vacations together all the time, have family games/movie nights every Friday and pretty much are neighbors. I love my boyfriend so much and I get along great with his family. His siblings are the sweetest and I always go shopping or to the movies with them, and I'm very close to his mom. She's even said I'm like a daughter to her and hopes that very soon she'll be able to call me her daughter-in-law. Now anyways, it's clear Abby has never liked me, but I stay cordial for the sake of my relationship. Abby would call my boyfriend every day and try to stay on the phone for hours. I spoke to my BF about it multiple times and he said he would limit the times he talks to her, and although I have seen some improvement, it's not as much as I would have hoped for. Abby has always given me backhanded comments, and whenever we are in groups together she'll find any excuse to be next to Jake or try and touch him. One incident of this happening was when we were going on a trip to Hawaii and everyone had assigned seats. IOFC was supposed to sit next to my boyfriend and told him to go along because I was going to help his mom put up her bags. When I'm finally done and head to my seat, I see Abby sitting in mine with a huge smirk resting her head on his shoulder. I asked what she thought she was doing and she said sitting in my seat obviously. We went back and forth, me explaining this was my seat and she said okay. It's just a seat, go take mine, you're not gonna die. In that moment the flight attendant came up to us and asked me to take my seat. I explained to her I couldn't as Abby was in my seat. I showed her my ticket, which has my seat on it, and she made Abby get up. Honestly, I no longer wanted to sit there as my boyfriend stayed quiet the entire time and didn't say anything to her, but I also wasn't going to let her have her way. Abby gets up visibly upset and shoulder checks me as she leaves. I could help but laugh, which made her even more mad, but she couldn't do anything about it, so she had to sit on the other side of the plane. Thank God. Anyways, I had a talk with my BF about setting boundaries with Abby and he agreed. Jake 100% kept true to his word. The trip went amazing. Abby kept trying to ruin things but he barely spent time with her, as much as she tried to get him to, and only did when everybody got together. I thought things had changed, but boy was I wrong. After the trip he went back to his old self, disregarded all boundaries. I tried talking to him about Abby's behavior and he said it's fine, she's just like that, she means no harm, so I should just get over it. This left a bad taste in my mouth, but I decided to just go about my day as if he never said that. Now I should make it clear we all share the same friends. We all decided to go out to a dinner for my birthday, and without telling me Jake invited Abby. I spent the day with my parents and siblings, so we decided to just meet at the restaurant. When I got there most of our friends were already there, including Jake and Abby. Jake was in between Abby and one of our mutual friends. This completely ruined my night, as when I saw them Abby and Jake were laughing, his hand on her knee and her arm intertwined with his. I asked Abby if she could move as I wanted to sit next to my boyfriend, and the way she was acting was highly inappropriate. Before she could respond, Jake has the audacity to say, "Come on, don't start." Abby starts laughing and says, "When are you gonna learn? I will forever be his #1 girl." At this point I was filled with rage but couldn't help but start crying and left. As I left, some of our friends decided to leave as well, but Jake and Abby stayed with the rest laughing. I was completely embarrassed and drove home. When I finally got home I packed a small bag and went to my parents' house. I explained to them what happened and they said I could stay as long as I needed. Around 2 a.m. I assume that's when Jake finally went home because he started bombarding my phone with calls and messages. I didn't answer any and simply turned my phone off. When I looked in the morning, the messages spanned from apologizing to calling me a sensitive, which then apologizing again. I simply said I needed space and would talk to him when I decided if I was going to stay with him or not, then blocked his number. I have some friends taking my side but others calling me childish. I'm not sure if I want to talk to my BF parents about this yet. Comment 1. NTA, I don't know how you have tolerated this situation this long. For your boyfriend to talk you at the restaurant as if you were the problem is beyond. Your BF has shown you that he has no plan to have boundaries with her. No self-respecting GF would tolerate the in-your-face stuff your BF allows from his friend and participates in. Comment 2. NTA run away from the situation. Jake has feelings for Abby and she knows it, and he is her backup plan because for her Jake is the safe bet, or she has feeling for him but won't tell him. I'm willing to bet that Jake has had several relationships that have all been ruined by Abby. You'd have to ask his family cause he won't know, but I bet Abby has done this with every girl he's gotten serious with. Until he block Abby from his life, Jake would never have a real relationship that succeeds. My GF has problems with glass. She is clumsy, always has been, and has broken many others before now. And I would not mind, but she is also shit at cleaning the shards. This past week alone, she has dropped 3 glasses, 1 jar, 2 bowls, a coffee cup, and busted a plate by leaving it on the stovetop while the oven was preheating, despite being warned many times before that items should not be on the burners when the oven is heating because the conduction carries through. She's been stressed out at work, so I kind of attribute a lot of it to that. I can't even really say which glass objects have injured me, specifically each time, just that I have been limping for a week because I stepped on a big shard that went into my foot, and some smaller ones went into my foot as well, plus some in my palms, because I missed them when I kneeled to pull the ones that were in my foot. I have stepped on or pressed my hand into glass 4 times this week. Tonight, when she asked for a soda, I poured it into a plastic cup instead of a glass one like she prefers, and said she couldn't use my glasses, and she pitched a fit. I can't phrase it different. She progressively got angrier at me for bringing up the other broken glasses because they were just accidents and I shouldn't punish her, especially because I started mentioning others before this week, but even so, I am sick of going through gauze and tape. She insists I'm making a mountain of a molehill and I should clean it up myself to my specifications because she does her best. Comment 1. Does your girlfriend need glasses? My fiancé used to drop fragile stuff, and finally, when it affected our wallet, he agreed to go to the optometrist. No longer clumsy. NTA. She unfortunately lost her glass privileges when you continued to get hurt. Comment 2. NTA. Even unintended actions have consequences. The part about telling you to clean to your specifications is what gets me most here. If there is shattered glass on the floor, you clean up until it is gone, so no one gets hurt. That's just common sense. Just like doing it yourself if you caused it. Comment 3. My ex kept breaking all of my cups. Eventually she googled break-proof glasses, bought me a set, and those were the only ones she used. My new boyfriend broke 2 glasses before he got banished to the plastic. He deals just fine. Backstory: my parents do not get along. They divorced when I was still in the womb, and my dad married the woman he's still with now and had 5 more children, my half-siblings. He wasn't in my life for 22 years, I'm 23 now, for reference, and we only just began to build a quasi-relationship last year, when one of my siblings did a DNA test, matching with me on the site and thus proving that we are, in fact, related. He had apparently always insisted that my mum was a liar, that I wasn't his kid, that my mum had tried to baby trap him, and that all of his efforts to get me DNA tested / to spend time with me were blocked by her. I've accepted that I'll never truly know the full true story because both of my parents have different versions, but it is what it is. All of that aside, I, 23F, am graduating at university soon, master's degree. Obviously, my mum is first on the list when it comes to who's coming. She is my life and soul. She raised me on her own and went above and beyond for me. There's no way she isn't attending on such a major day for me. I also thought that, since I'm now getting to know my dad, it would be nice for him to share this moment too, along with my siblings as well. So, I brought it up during dinner a few nights ago, and while my siblings expressed interest in attending, my dad's first reaction was to say, verbatim, "Oof, your mother will be there, won't she?" in a tone that really rubbed me the wrong way. I said yeah, she will be, but later on I confronted him properly. I asked him what he meant by what he said earlier, and he told me that he can't be anywhere that my mum is because his wife will get jealous and insecure and that she gets physically sick when she's jealous, and he doesn't want to put her in harm's way. So I said something along the lines of, well, my mum is definitely and rightfully going to be there, because she's my mum and it's a very important day for me. If that's such a big problem for you, please don't come at all. Some of the people I've spoken to in my family have said that I was harsh and didn't hear him out fully, that he never said he didn't want to come, and that I probably don't know the full story. That he's my dad and he didn't get to be there for many important milestones, so it's really quite cruel of me to tell him not to come to this one. I'm always being told that I'm missing a lot of context when it comes to my parents' full story, and yet no one wants to tell me that context. My aunt suggested I compromise and just find a way to make sure my mum and dad's paths don't cross on the day, but I don't want to have to do that. I refuse to walk on eggshells on a day that's supposed to be happy for me, to borderline babysit my dad just to make sure he doesn't run into my mother and subsequently make his wife jealous. That's not my problem. Comment 1. NTA. Your dad didn't miss out on many important milestones. He ran directly away from them. What's cruel here is abandoning your kid, insisting it isn't yours, talking years of shit about her mom, and then prioritizing your new wife when asked to actually be involved in your kid's life. The people saying you don't know the full context are just not helping. Either they tell you that context or they keep their mouths shut. Comment 2. It's a bit frustrating that everyone, even including OP, are actually acting like there's some big secret backstory that OP doesn't know about. And acting like his version of events should have equal weight to his mother's explanations. Like, we know this guy is a lying, manipulative deadbeat. Why is everyone enabling and entertaining his BS? Also, was his current wife a mistress? Because that would explain a lot. Comment 3. NTA. You're right. It's your day and you shouldn't have to walk on eggshells to make other people happy. Plus, if your dad's wife gets so jealous at the idea of your dad being in the same room as an ex, she needs therapy to work out her issues. Also, congratulations on the masters. I hope no matter what happens, you enjoy your graduation. My friend James and I, both 42M, have known each other since 3rd grade. He's always been a bigger guy, I've always been a bit leaner until recent. In our late 30s I put on about 40 pounds to now be around 270. James put on weight as well, and is in the 325 range. We're both taller guys but still too heavy for either of us. Over the years, we've both tried dieting in different forms as both of our wives are supportive and would like to join us and lose weight as well. After watching a few Where Does Your Meat Come From type documentaries, not preaching, I promise, my wife and I decided to try switching to a plant-based diet. We're not vegan, we still eat cheese sparingly, and skim milk on occasion, but neither of us have eaten any meat whatsoever in 8 weeks. I'm down 31 pounds, my wife is down almost 24 pounds. So I see my buddy about a month ago, when I was down 10 to 15, and he says I look great and what am I doing differently? I tell him we're trying a plant-based diet, and before I could get too deep into any explanation, he kind of cuts me short, laughs, says this is all BS, and don't start bragging around his wife as he'll never give up meat. Okay, terrific, I wasn't planning to, and also you asked me, I didn't even bring it up right now. But we leave it there. Last night we were all at another friend's house for dinner and drinks, and our host mentions my wife and I look terrific, and my wife brings up what we're doing. Despite it being received positively by everyone else with well wishes, my buddy gets all pissed off and starts openly announcing eating meat is a vital necessity to every diet, starts calling me a soy boy, lol, and looks at his wife and says don't even consider it, it's never happening. He tells everyone the only reason we're losing weight is because we're clearly starving ourselves and anyone could get the same results on any diet, doing the same. To which my reply was we've tried other diets without results, you know this. Maybe if you pulled your head out of your A for a minute you'd see I'm not trying to recruit you for anything, and your facts are wrong. There are entire regions of the world that don't eat meat/dairy and all much healthier than Americans as a whole. But by all means, keep on the heavy carbs/red meat diet and let us all know when you hit 400. This was a frustrating event because I don't initiate this conversation with anyone for a fear of exactly this happening. Eating meat or not eating meat triggers something in people. Regardless, my friend went to the bathroom and a couple minutes later excused himself, and he and his wife left. The dinner was fine after. The other couples all felt like he attacked us unprovoked, but he's a long-time friend. I'm 100% confident our friendship will survive this, but I still need to know if I apologize for my half of the incident, regardless of what was said in his half. Comment 1. NTA. One fat person to another. Sometimes you have to try tough love. I'm 35 and a year ago I was 400 pounds that shit socks. And it took having a little slip on some wet grass and needing surgery because of how fat I was to get me to do something about it. I'm down to 315 pounds now and kicking myself for not doing it sooner. Better to see if he'll wake up if you hit his ego than to wait until he really gets hurts or has a heart attack. Comment 2. NTA. He seems to have a strange hostility about this topic, and neither time were you preaching or recruiting when he went into his antagonistic tirade. People are strangely triggered by meat and non-meat diets. I do not get it. He was going too far in criticizing and making fun of your choices, and deserved to be put in his place a bit. Nothing you said was very harsh. Comment 3. I think ESH, but has anyone mentioned that 31 pounds in 8 weeks means you're losing almost 4 pounds a week? That is not healthy weight loss. The usual guidance is 1 pound a week, maybe more for the first couple of weeks if you are really overweight. Your friend might be right about the starving yourself thing.